EA, the king of predatory post-purchase monetization, has decided to go even harder with Battlefield 5 than they did with Star Wars, at least in terms of the number of things that are going to be monetized. Maybe not how it'll affect gameplay, but absolutely every aspect of this trailer is nothing but monetization. The evidence for this, other than the fact that EA is notorious for this kind of tactic, is that you can see it repeatedly throughout the trailer. I mean, it opens up with a horse head attached, not a real horse head, obviously, it's a statue, with some blood on it attached to the side of a tank. Let's pause it. You have a teddy bear, you have wine, and what looks like a candelabra. Now, these spoils of war items that historically would have been taken, well, not the horse statue head and the teddy bear, but the wine and the candelabra, these are items that they are going to monetize so that you can put them on the sides of your vehicles. They are going to drop this kind of stuff forever in post-purchase monetization. They stated there's no loot boxes, but they have airdrops, which we'll get into in a little bit. But these items are absolutely going to be included. Maybe they'll even let you buy them outright for $20, $15, $10 if we're lucky for an individual one. Who knows? Either way, let's move on. Let's see. It's a Churchill tank. Let's pause it again. Look at this shit. That's Kratos in the back. That's fucking Kratos. Other than the inclusion of Kratos from God of War, this screenshot shows different uniforms and possibly different attachments that you can put on the uniforms, whether those bags are actually part of the uniform or some sort of tertiary item that you can put on top of those. The guy in the middle you can see has what looks like an airborne patch on his shoulder. Whether or not that's attached to the uniform or it's something you can customize or they're unlockable and there's a dozen of them or so that you can put on, I can't really tell at this point. They have facial hair and facial paint. That's absolutely going to be monetized. And it looks like if you look at the arm of Kratos, I can't tell if his shoulder has a tattoo on it or if his tricep does or if that's just a smudge. But I wouldn't put it past EA to put in tattoos and have you pay for those as well. Let's continue. And Kratos is dead. Moving forward. Okay. I mean, everyone knows about this girl and her prosthetic arm. I mean, obviously prosthetics are going to be monetized, different kinds, different amounts. Let's move forward past that. Okay, that apparently is not a teammate. Oh, what was that? Okay, I'm going to pause this. That right there looked like a garrote, basically like piano wire. That was a weird animation. That might be an unlockable melee weapon, which again is not something unusual. Hopefully you can get them for free, or maybe they'll go down that Battlefield 1 route of where you can open chests and get a piece of a puzzle to unlock an awesome melee animation with an awesome melee weapon. That I consider more likely than anything else that they'd be doing at this point. But moving on to this freeze frame shot, this guy's got a katana. All right, they are nowhere near the Pacific. They are not fighting the Japanese. Where the fuck did this guy get a katana? Right. It's just another item that they can throw on there to make you pay for it and, just squeeze every last dime out of you after you buy this full-priced game. One other thing to point out on this guy is his headgear. His headgear is customizable. I haven't seen that on any other character model yet. They all seem to be wearing different sorts of gear at this point. So let's just move on. Alright, so it's up the window. It's a pair of tanks. It looks like an Abrams and a Churchill. You can kind of see, there's no real paint job on them. You can kind of see some camouflage. There's not a whole lot to make out in this freeze frame, other than the fact that I didn't notice this until just now. The tank just clipped through the fencing instead of breaking it over immediately. So for a pre-rendered animation, I don't know, I guess I shouldn't nitpick, but you should fix that shit. Moving on from my shitting on this trailer. Jumps out a window, rolls, probably damages katana, shoots him in the face with a shot. And, alright, a second ago that tank had nothing on it. It didn't have any foliage or camouflage on it whatsoever. Now it's covered in it. So this leads me to believe that you are going to be able to customize that. Again, that's nothing new. You've always been able to put paint jobs on your tanks and your planes and your general vehicles. The degree to which you're going to be able to do this and whether or not you can unlock them on your own without paying an absurd, obscene amount of money is yet to be seen. The Britain on the back left side might be a permanent written fixture, or you might be able to customize that with writing of your own. We have yet to see. Okay, got a bunch of eye makeup, patch on her arm as well. And oh, I don't know if anybody just caught that. Let's pause this for a second. They both gave a one-liner right there. So that's going to be something that you're going to be able to do. I don't think it's going to be something natural. It's probably going to be something that you're going to be able to pull through a wheel. If you're on a keyboard, you can probably just have it hotkeyed. And that's going to be monetized. Think of Overwatch and their voice lines. I think it's going to be along that same line. And if you use that logic, they're probably going to have emotes as well, so that you can do some dabbing after you kill somebody. Because of course it's a World War II game. Why wouldn't you be able to dab? But let's move to this freeze frame for a second. You can see on the back of that tank. I don't know what kind of tank that is, but on the back of the tank you have a United Kingdom flag. Whether or not that's a flag that's a permanent fixture, or if that's going to be like the Call of Duty image editor that you can throw up on there, who knows? A lot of countries don't allow Nazi symbolism to be allowed in their video games, so this might be a way around that. Hopefully that's just a free aspect if it is customizable, but who can say at this point? Moving on. Can't really see anything in that plane or on this tank, so just gonna move past it. This bridge is being destroyed and damaging the environment, probably an example of evolution. Crash, let's pause this. You can kind of see on the front of the plane that it has a custom paint job. It's got like eyes and an open mouth. It's something that's fairly common back then for aircrafts. Whether or not this is going to be a permanent fixture for it is unknown. Probably is. They're probably going to have a half a dozen to a dozen different skins for each of the aircrafts or each of all the vehicles that you're going to be able to choose from. Hopefully that they're free, but let's be real, you're going to have to pay for these. Let's continue. He's got an airborne patch on his arm. You can kind of make it out there for a second. It looks like a different uniform than the guy who was wearing an earlier hat. That dude got crushed by a car that apparently hadn't fallen when the rest of the bridge exploded. Maybe somebody drove that off and just hit him with it, but who knows. If you take a look at the aircraft next to it, you can see that it has some customization. It's got a white stripe. It's got a number 6 on it. Looks like iron crosses. So there's going to be limited customization on these. Again, I hope that it's not just a universal skin that has that, but rather something you can control. It picks up an LMG off the ground. I don't think that's something that you're going to be able to do like that. I think that's just part of the animation. But if you take a look at that, it's got some camouflage with shrubbery in the barrel shroud. It's also got a compensator on the front of it. The shrubbery would catch fire. There's Kratos, who throws back a grenade you just shot out of the air to take out a plane. Oh my god, what? Alright. Fucking what? Alright, anyway, let's move on to this plane for a second. You can see it's kind of got the same paint job and symbolism that the previous aircraft had, so probably just a generic skin that's going to be attached to different aircraft. I really hope shooting a grenade out of the air is just part of this trailer and not a part of gameplay. If we move on to these soldiers, the enemies and your allies all are slightly different. Headgear's the most obvious, nothing really interesting to point out. That is a V1 rocket being called in to the battlefield. Just for historical accuracy, they were only used to bomb hard targets from far away. They were never used to ground infantry. We have a German showing up with custom aviation headgear, and now we have the most infamous character in the game showing up to save your life in the nick of time with a Negan-inspired cricket bat. So this girl here, this woman, this character is the perfect example of the level of monetization that you're going to deal with if you buy this game. You're going to have to deal with custom melee weapons, which is, again, not that uncommon. That's pretty standard. The uniforms are going to be customizable. The backpack, I don't know if that's part of the uniform, if that's a tertiary item. Again, when it comes down to the facial makeup, there is so many things they can do with that. You're going to have different styles and different colors. Maybe you have every color unlocked. Maybe you have to unlock each color. Maybe you have to unlock each style and each color within each style. And then you get on to the most discussed issue, which is the prosthetic. The prosthetic is something that can be customized to an absurd degree. You're going to be able to get different colors. You're going to be able to get different styles. You're going to be able to get different sides. Maybe they'll even include leg prosthetics. So this is something that they're going to be able to truly put the screws to you on if there's a specific type of prosthetic, for example, that you think is really cool. If they decide to get really crazy and give some kind of, I don't know, Doomfist style prosthetic on there that you really want, it's $20. Well, there's an extra $20 for them. So, I mean, this is just a perfect example of where they're heading with this game. So that's the end of the trailer. Now let's just take a quick moment and go over all of the things that they're going to be monetizing. And just for clarity, they are going to be having loot boxes in this game. They said they didn't, but their pre-order information clearly outlines that there is going to be loot boxes. I'll bring up on the screen right now the clip from their webpage. It's on the pre-order webpage of Battlefield. If you look at the bottom of the screen right now, you can see that it says 20 weekly items with airlift. Get 20 weekly airlifts, each containing one customization item. Now, EA clearly stated, as well as DICE, that there is no loot box inclusion in their game. That sounds like a loot box to me. Maybe, just maybe, the customization item isn't random. Maybe they tell you every week what the customization item that you can buy, or you'll get naturally because you bought this. That can be the only way that I could see them saying it's not a loot box. If you go the route of Fortnite, for example, if you go to Fortnite's store, they clearly outline what each of the items that you can buy is. And they're purely customizable. They don't affect gameplay. However, Fortnite is a free game. This is a full-priced EA DICE collaborated Battlefield game. You are going to be paying $60 to $100 or more for this game and then have to buy shit after it comes out for customized stuff that should have been included with the game released. Keeping all of that in mind, I'm just going to go down the list of all of the items that I was able to spot that are guaranteed in my mind to be monetized. Let's start with uniforms, the headgear for your characters, weapon skins, melee weapons, and likely melee weapon skins, different variants therein, vehicle skins, different character models, facial hair, tattoos and scars, face paint or makeup, the spoil of war items for vehicles and characters. That includes the katana on the British Air Trooper, as well as the horse statue and the teddy bear candelabra and wine on the tank in the beginning of the trailer. You have the prosthetics, you have voice lines, and you have what is likely to be included but not yet announced emotes.